I'd like to call this meeting of the City of Elkhorn Architectural Review Board and City Planning Commission to order. It's Thursday, November 20th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Will you please rise for a Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Meinel,
Here.
Geeslin, Boardman,
Here.
Stocko,
Here.
Hunter,
Here.
Watke,
Here.
Schroeder.
Here. Next, we've got the minutes of the November 6th, 2025 meeting. Did everyone get a chance to review them? Any corrections?
Move to be approved as written.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Our first order of business is a review of the new comprehensive outdoor recreational plan for the city. We're looking to pass a resolution. We sent out all the documents in the packet. Is there any discussion on this?
I don't have any. Mayor, do you mind if I just ask?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just one question. Hey, I noticed in the packet it talked about how there's a recommendation to build a splash pad at Tash Park, and I'm just curious. It talked about how, typically that's in place of a city city pool. So I'm just kind of curious how that recommendation came to be. And
yeah, so I think they were looking at just the recommendations. So back in 2020, we had a master park plan done in addition to the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. Some of those things included new amenities such as a skate park, potentially a splash pad. I know that in all reality, Sunset Park the pool itself is plumbed for a potential splash pad, so that would be an option. But this document really just tries to encompass every single option the city has. So if somehow, some way there were to be some type of an opportunity for a splash pad, it is addressed in this document. It's not definitely for sure conclusion that it has to be in that location. It was just kind of carried over from the 2020 plan.
And one follow-up question for you.
Yes.
There's also a recommendation about creating a Friends of the Parks. Do you know of any other cities nearby that have a Friends of the Park?
Yeah, so I know that in my previous employer in city of Jefferson, we had a Friends of the Park. They oversaw like our community garden and any street common areas downtown that had garden plantings. So it's not uncommon, but like Ben said at the last presentation, a lot of municipalities, especially when they're updating their comprehensive outdoor rec plan, they are trying to put that in the plan just like as a target for municipalities to try to do, just because the upkeep that it does take to have planting and stuff in the park. So it's more so just kind of being as broad as possible to try to allow for those opportunities if they were to arise. So.
Anyone else? I have a question. All right, I think we're just looking for a motion to approve the resolution and the comprehensive outdoor plan.
I'd so move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next, we've got John Sorensen with U.S. Shelter Homes with a project concept review for West Market Street and North Church Street. So if you'd like to come up to the podium and.
I think you guys all have our proposed concept in your package, but I've got just a little PowerPoint here to start with. Let me figure this out. And with me is Ryan Cardinal, who I believe you all know with Cardinal Engineering. We've hired him to help with the engineering and design. So I'll just start with a little brief background. I'm John with U.S. Shelter, as the chair has already stated. We are the contract purchasers of the parcel on Market Street in Church, owned by Roger Wolf and his group currently. We're seeking to develop for sale, owner-occupied, small lot, single-family homes, create a new development at this site. U.S. Shelter, just as some brief background, we're family-owned and operated. The company has been building new homes and land developing since 1970. My grandfather actually grew up here in Elkhorn and built many homes in Illinois, but then is back in the area now in Walworth County, and he was the founder of U.S. Shelter, then run by my dad and myself. One of the earliest developments was actually Pebble Beach Drive out at Lauderdale. I know that's out of the city limits, but locally we've built within the past 5 or 6 years a handful at Stonegate Farms right here in town, and then Sugar Creek Preserve. Recent community developments we have just within Walworth County are Arbor Ridge Estates, Glen Oaks, Ellis Farms we finished not long ago, and then the residence at Meadowview Court. So the first, Arbor Ridge here, just as a background, which I see many of the products we offer today at these 3 or 4 different communities, kind of depending on the final outcome of the Market Street development, being offered with a similar style, similar flair. Arbor Ridge we developed with Ryan and his team. We bought the land. It's on Lake Comus, just north of the city of Delavan, put in the street, the infrastructure, and we started with base house and lot package pricing from the mid 300s. Currently we're in the mid 4s at the final opportunity nearing closeout. Houses range from 1,450 to about 2,600 square feet, give or take, with options. Product offerings, ranch, 2-story split levels. And I point out that we offered seven plans total. So for only 24 lots, 7 plans, it's not the same home up and down the street. When you drive in there, we're very proud of the community. It's very nice. Meadowview, this is an attached 0 lot line single family community we currently have active in Walworth County. It's up in Whitewater. It was a site that had sat for a number of years. We worked with the city to get the streets finished, kind of rezoned and replatted 38 0 lot line single family homes with 19 different duplex buildings essentially. We started in the high 2s there last year, high 200,000s for house lot package, so what in today's market is affordable, and we're currently in the low to mid 3s. Home sizes 1,325 to about 1,600 square feet there with basements. 2 ranch plans and 2 2-story plans. Here are just some of the products we're building between the communities now. We've got the Maple, which is the home on the left. We actually built something very similar at Stonegate Farms, not pictured here. 2,400 square feet, give or take, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. The Birch, it's the one on the right. Both of these just closed within the last half year. 1,770 square feet, 3 beds, 2 baths. The Spruce, this is a very popular young family home. It's a 1,950 square feet. The Pine, that's 1950, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. The Spruce, the one on the right, is a popular small ranch, 3 beds, 2 baths, about 2,400 square feet. These all fit on various size lots, as you can see, some small, some larger footprints. Again, here's a Spruce on a smaller lot. The Aspen, the one on the right, has been popular as well, which I envision bringing much of this architecture over. Here's a Linden 2-story, the Willow Ranch. Our sizes have been 1,400 to 2,500 square feet, which has worked very well for buyers these days. So this is just a splattering of product. This last 2 here, these were actually at Stonegate. The one on the right's a little bigger, and then just some interior photos to end with. And you guys all have the packet with the proposed plat, which I was unable to drag into the PowerPoint. So, we are proposing 43 single-family homes with 3 different cul-de-sacs off of Market Street, as you read in the minutes and notes. So that's what I've got. And just looking for feedback and thoughts and comments, and seeing if we're excited about the opportunity. Anything else?
I'm Ryan Cardinal Engineering. We came up with several different concepts for this site. We really liked this one due to the final feel that it gives the future residents. obviously the cul-de-sacs limits through streets for traffic. The cost per lineal foot of infrastructure is really beneficial with this layout. I believe you may have seen some other layouts. Because of the geometry of the site, you can't really fit two roads going horizontally across east to west. So the only way to get two through roads would be to put one all the way on the south lot line, and that just doesn't, you're not getting a good cost per lineal foot of infrastructure at that point. And you're developing or causing benefit to the property to the south, which wouldn't benefit to this development or the future plans of this area. Obviously, we would need some leniencies. This would be a plan unit development approach. The underlying zoning district, we wouldn't be able to hit the things we itemize in the narrative. But we believe it's very similar feel to the neighborhood to the north, but it is smaller lots. But one of the things that we've really enjoyed with working with U.S. Shelter Homes is they do a really nice product at a really great price point. We talk about getting housing at the right price point for the community, and I've really enjoyed working with U.S. Shelter Homes to achieve that. The developments we've worked with. If you have questions about the layout, feedback regarding the leniencies we'd be looking for, I'd really appreciate that now. And I believe also we need the TID amended as well. So if that's anything to be discussed here, we'd like to get some feedback on that as well.
How about parking on the street?
No parking on the street.
No parking
in the
on
current
the-
layout.
Okay, so you either park in your driveway or in your garage.
Well, we did meet with this current layout. We did meet current width for roadway. Gosh, what is it? 14-foot lanes? Jacob, I don't know if you remember. It's 14-foot lanes. So that's a little tight. I mean, it is the city code, but that is a bit tight for a through lane and parking. However, it's cul-de-sacs. We're not talking about people, cutting through roads here to get anywhere. So that is not one we'd be looking for a leniency. We met both right of way width, same road widths on this.
Hey, Ryan, is it your intent that these cul-de-sacs would be privately maintained, or?
No, we'd be looking turn it over publicly for both roadways and utility infrastructure. I'm not dead set on the utility layout, so we cut through some lots to try to get a good loop with water main, but that was just kind of a throw a dart at the dartboard currently to get something to start with. I'd rather it be under roadways, but I think that's something we'd work out with Public Works. But to answer your question, yes, it would all be turned over.
And Ryan, just one more question for you. Are you planning on sidewalks?
Yes.
Okay.
Sidewalks through the cul-de-sac, and I saw the note from Kapoor that they would require it along Market Street. I didn't have a problem with that. So we didn't show that, but that is something that's not a problem.
Just a question for our
Engineer, have you guys, I don't know if you've reviewed either the cul-de-sac design or the connections on Church Street at all, or have any feedback?
Yeah, I guess the cul-de-sac designs are within ordinance. They're under the 600-foot. I know previously we'd seen some other ones that had 800-foot lengths, but they are under that. I guess the one comment that we had made regarding that was kind of the alignment of these intersections. I know the one between Hearthstone Street and this middle cul-de-sac is a little under what the ordinance is, which is 125 feet. It's at 116 feet from center of intersection to center of intersection. That was one point that we had included in our letter there.
Yeah, it's that center cul-de-sac to
Yeah.
Hearthstone. We're a bit under that offset requirement. We're talking 10 lots. I would like to ask for that leniency because the layout works really well for the layout of those lots, but I'd like to know now if that's something that the Plan Commission would be against.
Why do we have that, Allison? Because of crossing traffic there, or what would be the problem if we?
From my understanding, at least, it's from a traffic safety perspective. That way you don't have intersections that are offset by a small amount, and then you get the confusion of someone trying to turn left and looking at the guy who's over here and not knowing what he's doing.
With the request to do a planned unit development, which this project would require a planned unit development, as Ryan stated, they would have the opportunity to ask for that leniency, and then that would be a policy decision for the Plan Commission and City Council to make. If they are close to meeting that requirement, there is a consideration to be made there if you would want to allow that or not.
Okay.
As you notice too, on the east side, we would like all of those lots to access directly off of Church Street. That's a nice little easy kickoff for the project to get those online. I think Kapoor noted that the driveway for that most northeast lot might have might be a little tight to that intersection. So we would deal with that at that time. It's 1 through 6, I believe, would access directly off of Church Street.
Would that need a turnaround at the end, so a fire truck could get around and get back out without backing all the way? Whoever.
Fire chief's not here. I mean, this is an existing layout, so I don't know if that's ever been voiced or if there been any issues there. This is obviously private, but I'm sure that they would utilize this, if you can see my cursor. The other thing I mentioned too is obviously Church Street, can't really tell from here, but I can bring up another map if you'd like to see it, but you know, it's in line with South Church Street, to where, you know, eventually maybe someday they would connect. So this would become more of a, you know, I don't want to say main thoroughfare, but more of a connector. And you'd obviously have 6 homes fronting that street. I don't think you have that in subdivision to the north of that. I think all of those front sides, quote unquote, side streets. I'm just raising it so that everybody's aware of that, in case you have comments for Ryan or the team on that. Do you have any concerns with it or not?
And this might be more of a question for John, but I know you mentioned about, TIF assistance. This is in the new TID 5, which was just created this past year. So I don't know if you want to talk about that at all.
At this point, I had understood that was on a kind of a future agenda. This was to get the concept. I mean, obviously, the goal was to show pictures, kind of introduce ourselves, who we are, explain the project as, Ryan's kind of talked about some of the cul-de-sac details and such, but kind of propose what we're doing. And then, once we know this is, got the blessing, we would get the details, but it's in line with what we've kind of discussed. And the goal is to keep housing affordable, of course, and costs are crazy through the roof. So, but I would like to hit targets similar to what I've presented in Delavan and Whitewater, where we're building right now in the, in the upper 3s if we can, to the 4s would be the goal. So for the end house product, and to get there with, just pending the final outcome, the final design, there will be some need for some assistance, so.
And, to be clear, I wasn't trying to put you on the spot in terms
Yeah.
of specifying amount. I just more wanted to raise the question, or not raise the question, but just, kind of put it as a future issue, but also just to the extent that there's any general questions about, the fact that it is located in the TID. A new TID was just created, so. And this was one of the 2 parcels that was identified in the project plan as a future project location. So this was part of the intent of creating that TID. So
Correct.
Yeah, just out of curiosity too, how do these lot sizes compare to some of the other, subdivisions you guys have built?
So in Meadowview and Whitewater, many of the lots are very comparable to what we're doing right now. I mean, in Delavan, they're smaller than Arbor Ridge, but on many of them are on par with Glen Oaks and Ellis Farms. So it depends on the community, Adam, but and two of those communities have been developed previously. Then we replatted the Whitewater plat. It was originally 21 single-family homes. It's now 38 duplexes. And I know duplexes, we do get a lot of requests for renter occupied, landlords looking to buy. And we've been trying to sell the owner occupied. And so I think the smaller single-family lot concept lends itself certainly to to an owner-occupied product. And so, but they're comparable generally. I mean, they range. So,
Well, I like the concept, and I think if we're gonna move forward, that we can look at these things that were brought up tonight and work our way through it, but I do like the concept.
I do too, but all the cul-de-sacs would become public streets then, right? Responsibility of the city?
Yes, that is correct. I will just add, I don't have too much more to add with this proposed concept, and I think it's a fairly good layout that we see. The request is not asking for too much leniency in our ordinance, so they do need a planned unit development, but really the request for a planned unit development would be fairly minor. I have worked with John in other communities. I worked with him on the Meadowview project in Whitewater to get that approved, and they build a really solid product, a really attractive, sellable product, and they sell very quickly. So I think from what I've seen, they develop a really nice product.
What kind of build out are you thinking about? I mean, are we talking 27?
20, like as far as completion.
When is somebody gonna be buying one of those homes?
I mean,
moving in?
we would like to get this through the approval process as quickly as possible, of course, and hopefully, close on the parcel in 2026 and start if possible late next year. I mean, we'd be looking to start pretty quickly, so we wouldn't be looking to sit on the land if it's approved. So it's going to be a go, no go with that.
I think the easy thing to phase it in would be those 6 lots on the east side of Church Street. And then we probably, depending on the market, once we're through approvals through this winter here is what we'd be aiming at. So that springtime we could start some utility loops, construction. And then, the nice thing is each of these cul-de-sacs can kind of act as its own once all the utilities are in. So as long as the market's demanding, we can phase it pretty quickly through those 3, or it'd be 4 areas, the east Church Street and then 3 cul-de-sac areas.
And some of that we will be going for the wetland permits and stuff like that, so that just takes some time, but we're looking to keep it moving is the answer. So.
Okay.
I will just add that Kapoor did do a full review of this concept, and Jacob, did you just want to summarize any major concerns or anything that you think the Plan Commission should be aware of with this project?
I think we've talked about most everything in some way, shape, or form that we've kind of touched on in our letter. I guess the only thing that I will add is regarding some of the utilities. And I know Ryan said that their layout right now is kind of a preliminary as to how everything's going to go behind lot lines and whatnot. But I know I spoke with Matt and I spoke with Nate Steffen at the Water Department, and kind of the thought was if we're going to be running dual utilities through there, the minimum we'd want is a 30-foot easement or a 20-foot if it's just going to be one of the two, just kind of working through that as we get to that point. And I know from previous reviews that we had some comments regarding the looping of the water main, which this concept did provide, but I wanted to keep that in there, especially as we're at this preliminary stage. Otherwise, just some information regarding our stormwater ordinance, and they have a pretty sizable basin here that should be able to facilitate all of the requirements of that. Yeah, that's really, everything else we've touched on in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any comments or concerns or anything? Well, I would agree with Ken, it seems very positive, and we, you know, so. Other than that, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Agenda here. Yeah, I will. Our last item is a central place overlay and certificate of appropriateness for a facade improvement application, a discussion and recommendation. And I imagine that might be when Katie James is here.
Yeah.
And John. I don't have the names here. So. John and Peter, okay.
Yeah, that
go
is
ahead.
correct. So I'll let Katie kind of take it away. She just really briefly, she created this form. They've been hard at work, working on an application that's much needed. It's an application we don't currently have, and so we're kind of rigging up one of our existing applications, and it's really unhelpful and it's not good. So she's been working on this, and I'll let her take it away.
We've been working as the Historic Preservation Commission to come up with an application that's more encompassing and gives more relevant information only for the central place overlays. That's the downtown business district area that is protected, where they need to come and before the Planning Commission with facade improvements that they would like to do. The general application that we had been using by the zoning commission, by the zoning department, excuse me, was really broad and all-encompassing for all projects. And it had a lot of information on there, was requesting information that was confusing to applicants. So we looked at the city of Milwaukee, the city of Madison, city of Eau Claire, city of Burlington, and a couple of other municipalities on what an application would look like that is more clear and more user-friendly for our downtown property owners who want to make improvements and investments in downtown. It's very short, it's 2 pages. It asks all the same information that you had received previously that you were able to make your determinations on the projects with, but it just lays it out in a more clear way. And that's really our job. We're trying to make things easier for our property owners to make those investments.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yep. John, did you have anything to add to that from the HPC?
Good evening, everybody. My name is John Gunyon. I'm the interim chair for the Historic Preservation Commission. I thank you for your warm welcome. Last time I was in here, it was a little hostile. So we're, as you may be aware, we lost a couple of members. We're trying to step back and take a different perspective on things. This forum is one of the things that's come to our attention. We're trying not to override, but we realize that the frustration some people can feel in filling out a form. Jim Boardman, you know, is probably one of the most familiar individuals with history, probably because he's lived most of it. But we realized that all the paperwork that we can generate, you know, we were asking people for how many square feet of blacktop they've got, and we just don't need all of that stuff. So we're trying to find a way. We've changed our meeting dates so that we are right in the middle of your meeting dates. So if something comes before your board, the next week we can pick it up. The next weekend we can return it to you. I'm going to share with you just an invitation. We've got Jason Tisch is going to join our next meeting. Jason's with the Wisconsin the Wisconsin Historical Society. My wife describes me as having a brain that consists simply of a dirt path that kind of goes to the front and the back, and I have a hard time grabbing all these acronyms that we throw out when we start talking about historical preservations and CPOs and CPAs and all those kinds of things. So the Historical Preservation Commission is going to take a step back. We've invited this gentleman to join us December 9th at our regular meeting at 4 o'clock. We would like you to come if you are able to, because the historical preservation, I think one of the biggest concerns we heard is that people were saying, we don't want you to tell us what color we can paint our house, and we don't want to tell us if we can change the design of our siding. That's not where we want to go either. So there are a lot of different levels of a historical preservation commission can get involved with. Right now, Katie has shared with us an opportunity that we have to have Elkhorn recognized at the national level as a historic group. We can generate some tax revenue from that for the business participants. So one of the things that we're talking about is involving state who has some funding that we can take advantage of for our business owners, that perhaps in 26, 27, they can plan on changes for 28. 28 from our downtown business community is gonna be a tough year. We shut down their road for, a month and a half or 2 months. They're gonna struggle. So we're hoping that we can align with their concerns and yet provide them with some tax incentives, perhaps some financial incentives to make updates while the road is tore up. Maybe it'll be an opportunity for them to make some positive improvements. We're looking to work in a lot closer ways. We're gonna have some public hearings. The state had actually asked us if we'd like to hurry up and get some funding from them in 2025, and we said no. We don't wanna go through this too quick. We wanna make sure that we're sharing with you so that there's no surprises. So I just wanna thank you for the forum. We're blessed to have Katie as one of our members and to have Jim on there, so. Anybody have any questions for me?
No, I'd like to thank you for stepping up. I know things were a little shaky there for a while, and Katie too, to not let things just drift away like they did before. And then it comes back, with all these big changes. So I appreciate you stepping in and getting things done, getting things lined up.
Well, thank you, Ken. We spent way too much time talking about what used to be. We had a couple of board members that were focusing on overlays and maps and things, and we couldn't find that they existed. And there comes a point where you just say, okay, let's start over. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to start over. We're going to see what is best for the downtown community. We're going to time this about the time when the library is back up and running with some public hearings, inviting our downtown business members to come. We'll invite Jason Tisch to come back and share with them. So our goal in the second week of December, Tuesday, 4 o'clock, right over here at your table, is to just learn more about what the Historic Preservation Commission is and how can we help. So we're really going back to the fundamentals. We admit we're all kind of novices. We're grateful to have Katie here. Katie's been a wonderful asset, kind of a liaison between all of the things that you are doing and our group too. So we've kind of made her a permanent invitation to join she's not a member of the board, but to have her join and come in and share what you're doing, what other aspects are doing. So I thank you. If you have any questions, please give me a call. I'll be glad to help answer. I probably don't know the answer to it, but we're going to find out.
Ask your wife.
Thank you. Yeah. Hope you can join us next Tuesday night. We're going to send that out to some other folks. We'd like to get the chamber involved. Because this is an opportunity here from the man that knows what this process is, and you can put questions forth to him. So we'll be inviting some other business owners and community leaders as well. And you are welcome to extend an invitation to anybody that you can think of that might want to just sit in and start at the ground floor, understand what a historical preservation should be doing and how we can get it done and how we can help folks in Elkhorn. Thank you.
Next Tuesday.
December 9th. Yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah, next Tuesday we got to be buying frozen turkeys and we'll be keeping busy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John.
So with this, I don't necessarily know if we need a formal motion to approve the form, but some sort of acceptance, I think, would be great so that we have Plan Commission's blessing to move forward and start utilizing this form, get it on our website, and then moving forward, this is the form you would see at Plan Commission if we had a Central Place overlay project.
I'd like to make a motion to approve what are we calling it?
Form.
The form? The newest form.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, everybody.
You bet.
Great.
All right, do we have any general discussion items?
I don't think so.
All right, we've got a meeting for December 4th at 6 o'clock, and my understanding is there will not be a meeting on December 18th.
That's correct. I don't have anything for December 18th.
So then our first meeting of the new year will be January 15th
That's correct, yes.
of 2026. All right. Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.